Today I have my first issue with glass not fitting after I've cut all the pieces for a frame. I cut all the pieces to make a 72cm pine window, and I'm cutting some chestnut windows and run out of wood. Let's get into it. So today I'm going to be cutting circles for this 72cm pine pivot window and taking that window as far as I can. To cut them I use a router with a spiral cutter bit and a compass point that is anchored in the middle. I measure the router, I make sure the diameter is perfectly correct to the millimeter, and I cut all the way through using the spiral cutter bit. So these two that I just cut are the frame, they get laminated together. This one is going to be the sash, so that fits inside the frame and pivots round. And from these two I'll make the jamb, which I then stick to the frame, and 6mm inside that I make the bead, which holds the glass into the sash. Let's go! The gap is a tiny bit bigger than I would like, but it's summer here in the Mediterranean. Nothing is going to be drier than this, so it's going to expand. It would still fit anyway. Right, last thing to cut is the bead and jamb. Completely wrong. Be very careful with this bit. Next up is to laminate the outer frame. So the two biggest pieces need to be glued together. I need to biscuit joint the bead, which will stay as a single lamination. I can do the recess for the sash. And that's all I can do for that one today. So I got the frame, sash in the middle, and the bead. Biscuit time. So next up is the frame lamination. So when I'm making these, because with pine there's always knots and stuff, I try and remove all of the knots. I end up chucking away half of the boards that I use. So because this outer frame is made of 4 laminations, I make one, I call it a dirty one and one clean one. So this is the clean one. It's only got a small knot in it. That one is a dirty one. So I can hide the knots and pith and stuff within the lamination. So these ones are both pretty good actually. So yeah, when they're both really good, I'll just pick the one with slightly more knots. This one's got 2 small ones. This one has a very small one here. So I'm gonna hide the knot face. And then the 2 visible faces will be clean. Sapelli glue sticks, necessary. Now I just need to recess this, and that will be all I can do for that window today. Rabbit? Called a rabbiting bit. For whatever reason, it cuts a recess. What's going on? Well, here we have the first mistake from the glass company. Look at this. So this glass is for a 70cm window. This is a 72. 72 needs a 52 glass. This glass says it's 52 on it. This recess is 52. 52.7. 57.2. Darn it. Right, well, I've got to order more glass anyway. Well, maybe I'll use it one day. Well, if the glass was the right size, it would fit, so I can carry on. That was a bit scary. I thought I'd made a big mistake cutting the frame, but actually it was the glass makers that made a mistake for once. Usually they're very accurate. That's all I can do with the pine pivot window. Next I've got to cut all the segments for like 4 windows. Got to cut the segments for 2 38cm chestnut portholes, 1 80cm pine pivot window, and 1 120cm chestnut pivot window. Well, most of my measurements were incorrect, so I fixed that. First, always measure the first batch. See if I've got the angle right. Good to go. Update, I did not buy anywhere near enough chestnut, so I'll cut up everything I have and then go buy some more, and I'll have to mill it another day. I can confirm that if I had used the offcuts of these to make the portholes, I almost definitely would have had enough wood. Always check with a checked strap. That looks pretty good to me. Slightly more annoying than I realised. I need 7 stacks, I've got 6 there, and I've got 5 of the 8 segments there. I literally needed 3 more segments. I have all those offcuts that I could have easily used instead for these. If I'd done these afterwards with the offcuts, I could have got it. I'm going to have a look for a couple of boards of chestnut around the back. There must be a couple more. Found one board. Just need 2 pieces from it. Alright, I've got to do the same thing again for the 80cm pine pivot window. But yeah, it's just the same thing. Cutting. So I'm not going to film it. So that's all for today. Hope you like the new format. See you next time. Subscribe. Leave a comment to tell me how to do better. I'm just starting to try and make videos, so yeah, just tell me how you think this series could be better. I want to make a long-term series. So the idea behind this series was, I've been watching YouTube for a while and just kind of got bored of this whole culture on YouTube of like, I did a thing, like I did this, I did that, and making a video like once a month of trying to do something even more crazy than the last person. And then Ryan Trahan did a series of 50 days of just going to Airbnbs, and it was the same thing every day. But I really enjoyed watching him drink coffee, really enjoyed him showing what the house was like and all this like basic simple stuff, and it reminded me of watching TV when I was a kid, and you wait for an episode to come out and then you watch it and then you maybe go and do something else. You don't just spend hours binging on the TV, or maybe you do, but you know, I want to try and make YouTube a little bit more healthy, so with, you know, 2 episodes of a thing a week, and then other people obviously are already doing that. Yeah, that's my idea, but give me some ideas of how to make the days a little bit more interesting, because I don't know, it could end up getting boring, but yeah, hey, we're gonna try. See you later. No, wait, before, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. Bye.